Popping peoples.
Hey,
It's our effing podcast. Bodega Brothers, 2/3. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Trav. I was very busy because I'm sure some sporting activity took place tonight.
actually, no, I think it's something to do child home driven. I believe this time. I'm not sure if a sporting event is in there somewhere. Sometimes that's the excuse. Hey, I'm cleaning up my children, but he's watching a couple of guys run into each other with a ball.
Yes, wearing matching shirts.
Yes.
It's cool how we emasculated, the whole sport of football. You know what I mean?
It's what we do.
I bent over in a huddle, looking at the men's butt,
Wearing tights,
waiting for you to show them a ball. Yeah,
yeah, that's what y'all are doing.
like you prove the point. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You and your ball playing. And I'm all this because my dad's like a high school football hero where he's from. He's all huge and shit. You know.
Word. Like
Yeah,
did your pops push you into like sports because he played certain sports?
Not really. But when I did play sports, the little bit that I did, he kind of he took it too serious. I'm out here having fun. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He would be livid, like if we lost, or he would be like, "No, you need to," and that's what made me be like, you know what? F this, man. I'm not doing it anymore. I remember the day I quit soccer. Well, I quit soccer outside of school because I played for my school, but in the other leagues and stuff, I was like, I was always doing really well in soccer. Like I'd be in the newspaper and on the news and stuff for real. Like as a little kid, I played fullback, which is like a defender by the goal. And I was really nice with it from a really young age. Real stereotypical, right? Really nice with it. And I remember one time we lost like some big game, and I was still in a good mood because I had so much fun during that game because it was real close. And me and my friends was really close with all the guys on the team. I loved my coach. And coming back in the car, my dad is just mad. He's driving, and my mom keeps looking back. My mom keeps looking back like, he doesn't mean it. It's okay, mijito. He doesn't. Everything's okay. And I'm like, yo, no, man. I'm sitting back there like, and I'm sitting there, I was like, thinking, word, I ain't playing no more. We got home. I was like, I quit. And he was like, you don't quit. I was like, I quit. And I didn't play until like I got a little bit older and I could play in school. You know what I'm saying? And then I did. But even then, I was like, I'm having fun. And he wanted me to be real good. And I was real good at baseball, really good. But I was like, I don't want to stay after school and do this. And I might get hit by the ball, in the face.
These are genuine concerns, especially like, you think about getting your modeling career popping later on in life. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't want
to be looking like Corky or Rocky Dennis.
I didn't want to have, especially Rocky Doll swole up. No, I didn't want that. And then like I was really fast. I was really good, like I'm real fast, like fast little dude, man. I was burning dudes who's way taller than me, have long legs. I'm burning them. And coach was like, yo, you need to come join the relay team. I was like, yeah, I have to get up early for that. And then like Yo MTV Raps and Rap Cities on, especially in middle school when I was a little kid. It's like, yo, I'm not gonna miss my rapping videos.
See, that's why we're friends, man. Like, yo, because I based my whole life on what time Yo MTV Raps, Rap City, Video Music Box, all that stuff came on. Like, don't ask me to come outside. Like, I'm not playing. You know what I mean? And granted, just to paint a picture of what era we're talking, cats had the VCRs where you can, program the little remote to record your favorite shows at a certain time. But no, there was nothing like being there. And even if you're recording it while you're watching it, you want to not record the videos you don't care about.
That's right. I mean? There's a lot of that too, especially during a certain era. There's some I'm like, yo, what is this trash? But then, man,
I got so many tapes where like some bullshit's about to come on, and stop, go to the next dope thing. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, especially man, I was a b-boy, I was all in the dancing, so like I had to be there like to record all the ones with the heavy dancing in it. Like, oh yo, check them out. You know what I'm saying?
So moves from man. Like, man. I remember when a big school dance or something would pop off, I would always try to look at videos to see what the latest dance moves are, only to realize I really still couldn't do them.
Yo, I was the kid they flipped and would flip off the walls, which brings me back to sports because the coaches would see me in there and be like, yo, Coop, why don't you you're athletic? Why don't you do all that, in off season or on the field? And I'd be like, because there's no beat. Like, you're not playing music and I really don't care.
You know what? I could say that about you. Like, anytime we've ever done anything like in the athletic space, right? Short of working out, like if it's a competitive sport, like, yo, you have the most passive attitude to anything that's happening on the field because like either you're having fun with it or you're not.
Yeah, it's like it's not going to affect me 5 minutes from now whether or not we win or not. Are we having fun? Because I'm not playing this professionally, so
See,
and I ain't trying to look cool.
and that's
So
crazy, like, cause I be on my Al Bundy shit, like, I be trying to, like, prove that I still got it from you know what I'm saying, from high school, like, "Yo, throw this ball over those mountains if I wanted to," and I wasn't even a football guy, like, I hated football
right.
because it was a two-part trauma, right?
Oh, it was a
Um,
trauma behind
it
it.
was a trauma behind it, so my stepdad and my mom used to always bring me over people houses to watch football that didn't have no fucking kids.
Oh,
So I'm like the
yeah,
only kid there, and this is like, before the era of cell phones, before the
right,
era of Game Boys. Well, Game Boys was out, but you had to be kind of like richish to, have these handheld games at one point in time. So like I'm
right,
just
right.
just there watching adults get upset over the fact that like the Cowboys didn't win.
Yeah,
It slowly made me have a strong disdain for that team and just football as a whole. And then even too, like my stepdad used to play football. He went semi-pro for a minute, right?
oh, word,
And
okay, I didn't know
so he
that,
was
yeah.
really, yeah, so he
I
was
didn't know
really
that,
pushing,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, Arkansas Razorbacks.
word.
Um, but I think it's a college team. I don't even I still don't know because I only watch Super Bowl, right? So he would always try to push me into football. And just on the strength of just the over pushiness about it into football,
Yeah,
it made me
yeah,
wanna play even less. But what I
yeah,
but what I did excel in was intramural sports and, like, one-on-one competition sports, like wrestling.
that's what I like.
Yeah, like, I was phenomenal at wrestling. Track, I ran, like, in middle school, I ran 100 and I ran the relay, and because no one paid attention to what was going on with me, I'm running track in football cleats, which made me actually slowly but surely become faster than I should have because I had to work twice as hard.
That's what
You
I was
know what
gonna
I'm saying?
say, my God,
I
because
didn't know
like,
there
if
was a
someone
difference.
yeah, as someone who ran track, like, on off season and I do relays and all that, and they wanted me to, and I'd go out there and run, run with them sometimes especially middle school. Yeah, those knowing the difference, I'm like, holy crap, man, you had weights on your
Pretty much,
running
and when
races
I
with
finally
weights.
put on a pair of real cleats, because like, once again, it wasn't that they didn't, like, buy them for me because we couldn't afford them, just
Right.
no one was paying attention to what was like, what I needed, you know what I mean? So, like so I'm
See,
like, "Yo,"
yeah,
I was like, "Why
I
your
would
shoes look like that?" And
I was like you. I was always into the one-on-one and the whole team thing. I'm like, yeah, shut up. Like, it'd be always some kids that be taking stuff way too serious. And I'm like, yo, you ain't gonna play pro, man. We in sixth grade. Chill out. Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? No, I get practicing and wanting to be good and wanting to do your thing. You've been out here working on it. I get that. But beyond that, where you're crying at the end of the game, and it's not even maybe a scrimmage. I'm like, yo, it just turned me off to the whole thing. But the one-on-one, like I understood like the wrestling.
Mhm.
I just didn't want to wear a singlet. I just did not want to wear a singlet. That's the only now I look back, I would do wrestling. But
Yeah.
like I loved boxing, of course, martial arts I've been into since I was like taking it and doing it and fighting stuff since I was 10. So it's just that one-on-one because you're fighting with yourself too. It's not just the opponent, you're really fighting with yourself. And if you screw up, that's you screwing up. It's not somebody else. And you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I
And
don't
you
like
have
it to
you to
never be
blame.
nobody's fault, whether, like, whether win, lose, or draw, like, I'd rather take the L or the W just off my own merit, you know what I mean? Like, not because
Right.
Johnny fumbled the ball.
Right. And it's just a different type of fan too. Cause like a lot of football fans, God bless them. Most of the homies, 99.9 of them, especially me being from Texas and you being out there in Georgia, are like into football. Most of my homies played football growing up. My pops, my grandfather almost went pro in football and baseball. Like it's that kind of, but with me, it was just like, yo, like I'm like your mom and your dad yelling at the TV, right?
Mhm.
My mom would lose her absolute shit and be going Spanish and English, and going crazy, be pissed off the rest of the day like she owns stock in the team. Like, and then I know other people like it ruins their whole day if their team
Yeah.
loses, and they'll be mean to me and shit, or we can't go do something now because such and such is mad at the team. And I'm like, I don't give a damn. We're supposed to be at the club at this time and we can't go because you're mad because the team lost. I don't know anybody on this team. They're millionaires. I'm not. So what the fuck do I care? You know what I'm
And
saying?
and I'm
It's
always offended when I call Travi, like, while the game
oh
is
yeah.
on and he's so short with me.
Oh, that's how I know a game. I'm texting him. I'm texting him. Man, my life's falling apart. X, Y, Z. I just got shot. Blah blah blah. He'd be like, "Damn," or "Oh man." I'm like, "Oh, a game's on." Because normally he'd be like, "Yo, where you at? I'll come
Engage,
help
yeah.
you." Yeah, he'll like, yeah, rain, sleet, or he's, he'll come help you. But if a game's on, you'll
Oh, yeah.
get, oh man, and you'll get it 45, maybe an hour later,
Yeah.
maybe.
If he's
It's
watching
possible.
them boys.
On them Cowboy. But big shout out. He doesn't even play anymore, and he only played for the Cowboys for a little while. But he went to the Super Bowl, not with the Cowboys. I forget what team, but Martellus Bennett was the homie. That's
Oh,
like one
Marty
of the
B.
only. Yeah,
I forgot
Marty
about
B's the
Marty B
homie.
TV. Oh, snap, man. That
Marty
is a
B
blast from the past.
is the homie, and you know what? When we hung out, because we hung out a lot, he didn't talk about football ever. It was all the same stuff I was
No,
into.
he made me like the Cowboys again because he just
Yeah,
brought an energy to it. Damn, I'm so glad you put his name. I gotta look him up, man. Shout out to anybody who knows Martellus Bennett. And yo, solid dude. And
solid
not
dude.
like typical athletes of the time, man. Like real solid individual. Like, like also shout out to Josh Howard, who used to play for the Mavs back in the day.
Yeah.
Another like who I met, this artist he was working with named Tight Man through all that.
Yes. Yep.
And yeah, like yo, I mean, yo, man, Dallas, we had some cool people come through. Remember, like
Yep.
Jason Kidd, like he played
Yeah.
for the Mavs for a minute, and like I think he was like hitting Holly Berry or something.
Yeah. He was smacking her around, and it's
Oh,
always
no, I
crazy.
didn't mean smacking her. Like I like like
No, I think he was doing that too.
oh,
So he was hitting her vagina and her face, but with different things. Like,
got you.
but but
Beige rage.
what's crazy, yeah, but mad beige rage. But what always trips me out about him is did you notice? And this is a tangent, but Bill Cosby, the women that he allegedly sexually assaulted, they all
I
look like
mean,
Jason Kidd.
low handsome.
They look like Jason Kidd with strong lines in their jaws.
Yeah,
So Bill Cosby's, and I'm not saying it to be what's the word, insensitive
right.
towards the allegations.
Because people
I'm
went through
just
some
saying,
things.
yeah, son has a type. He likes chicks who look like Jason Kidd. At least that's what I'm seeing from the victims.
Fair enough. I mean, like on the Jason Kidd scale, like how do you feel Camille looks? Like the because she kind of has like a soft jaw. It's just a low haircut. She has a
Yeah, she
Jason
got,
Kidd haircut now, but very, very soft jaw.
yeah, no, yeah, she looks nothing like Jason Kidd, in my opinion. From what I recall, how she looks. But you know what I'm saying? She always had the kind of like the college cut steez,
Mhm.
and some women can pull that off really fly. I don't care what race. I've seen all kinds of races with that pull it off, but she don't look like Jason Kidd. Like them other chicks be looking. I'm like, yo, man, like she got hella jaw. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever you're into. Not saying they ain't beautiful on the inside and all that. See how I'm trying to walk it back.
Everybody needs something to love. Everybody,
I don't
everybody
know if he
does. Yeah.
loved it, but
She didn't remember it. That's why there was a
yeah,
whole
it
case
was the whole
with
thing.
that. It's just
Yeah.
like no one's no. Like whether you Bill Cosby. Oh, okay. I mean, well, these people didn't even have the opportunity to say no. That was messed up, right? So like anytime you drug somebody, because it's like somebody probably right now going to a club with a pocket full of roofies, and I hope you get caught and get whatever you supposed to get out of the situation, or maybe I hope the person you do that to wasn't who you thought they were. You know what I mean? Whether it's
Oh man, somebody, I'm not gonna name names, but somebody I'm very close to that I went with recently to a spot with got drugged because this dude thought I left her and I didn't. I just went outside. And if I hadn't have been there, you know what I'm saying, this dude was gonna take this person and maybe I don't know, do Lord knows do what. But
Mhm.
because I was there, I was able to get this dude away. Come to find out, she was drugged real heavy. So you know what I'm saying. Matter of fact, we trying to open a case over there where that happened. But yeah, man, it can get real out there, man, with them with the roofling. But
Yeah, I feel like America needs to go medieval with a lot of things, right?
yeah, yes,
We have a lot of issues, and like when you always look at these countries that just are really extreme with the punishments on certain things, how they like kind of are better off, right?
yeah, I
Like,
get it.
what if if you got arrested for rape, sexual assault, anything involving children or whatever, you as a man, you definitely are gonna get man docked when you go to jail.
Yeah,
Like there's a jail specifically for those type of crimes where like, hey, listen, welcome to this jail. Like off top, this is what we're doing. Like Fleece Johnson, big booty warrior energy,
yeah,
man docking.
yeah. They're gonna dock the hell out of you. They're gonna, they're gonna take it to town and a pound town on you, if you will. And I believe that should happen. And what's other certain things, crimes against children, those kind of things, medieval, baby, go medieval. There's no, and I'm a Christian dude. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But I'm just saying, there's certain things I'm like, hey, yeah, the Lord's gonna deal with you, but at the same time, you need a little bit punishment here because yo, it's some sick people out there, man.
Well,
Obviously,
sexual assault against children and women, if
out of there.
if it's not the guaranteed man docking, what if they
Hmm?
took a little off the top? Not the whole thing, right?
They just
Just a little off the top.
kind of muted it.
Yeah, like, think of like a lit cigar, right? You know what I'm saying? Like how so off top, I think that would probably kill a lot of sensitivity and nerve endings down there to where you
Yeah.
wouldn't even desire the activity and the action no more. And that would definitely probably scare a lot of people away from trying to do those sort of things.
Was just kind of sick though. Some of those guys would probably get off on it because some of the sick things these people do was like, oh yeah, cut it, cut it. You know what I'm saying?
Like in the BME Pain Olympics, which no
BME.
one should ever Google.
Okay, BME Pain Olympics. Don't Google it. I
Don't
think I'm
Google it.
familiar with what you're talking about now that my mind's coming back to me on that.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
there was like a hierarchy on the iceberg of like just some of
yeah,
the worst things you could see on the internet, short of
yeah.
the war that's going on right now.
Right.
BME Pain Olympics, I put it 2 notches above Two Girls, One Cup on the grossometer.
Gotcha. And that was that was pretty out there. And now people pay for that kind of thing. So
Yeah, it's weird. It's a subgenre.
it is.
Look what they've
That
done. Look what they have
things we
done.
were things we were shocked by. Now it's like that. Hey man, that's my Tuesday. That's my Tuesday morning. You
Yo,
know what I'm saying?
it's crazy how like the levels of things go up because you remember at one point in time, like, oh man, The Simpsons is the worst show on television for like American families, and then South Park was like, hold my beer, and then it came out, and then
Oh
mysteriously, I guess because Family Guy is like on a national network, right?
yeah, yeah.
And now people feel like the Family Guy is tame in comparison. I was watching an episode the other day, and I'm like, yo, they still write with brass knuckles.
Word.
You know what I
That
mean?
that and Family Guy and American Dad. American
American
Dad
Dad.
is good.
Yo, they go crazy on CBS right now because they can curse and just leave everything in there and not have to bleep anything out. So American Dad TBS uncensored is hard body. But even when you look at games and the way games have progressed over time, like have you seen the new trailer for the new Grand Theft Auto yet? Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out.
Seeing pieces, man, but I ain't seen the whole trailer. I've seen like little quick blurbs and I've seen still shots.
All right, I'm gonna run this video, right?
Okay, all right.
And let's just narrate the whole thing because
Let's go.
I'm pumped up.
Okay. Okay.
Yo, so it comes on, it looks beautiful, and
Yeah,
this is
it's
the
beautiful.
first time that you're getting a female protagonist in the story ever, and she looks hot on like, yo, video game hot.
Yo, they made her look like a neutrinoid. Good job on that, so we can't really tell what she is.
Oh yeah, ethnically ambiguous. Yo, I know chicks that are built like that girl.
Yeah, on that beach. They made that realistic too.
Yo, even yo, come
Oh,
on now, like
girls
man,
twerking?
yeah, yo, you about to get Big Kappa beach energy in a minute. You
Wow.
better wait for it. Not there.
Okay. Okay.
Gloria
No, for
Velez,
real.
right?
Yeah, Gloria Velez, yeah. That's Steve's for real. Okay.
Alligators in this one. Come on,
Twerking
man.
on cars, that's South Dallas. Yeah.
Alligators in the store. That's very Florida. That's very Florida too.
That's mad
And I love how
Florida,
they
yeah.
showing you all different types of Florida. I know mud people, the muddy whites,
The
a
mochi oh,
Karen
I know that
even.
lady. I know that lady. She lives on my street. Yo, word. They oh,
I've
yeah.
seen that guy in Deep Ellum.
Yeah, man. Yo, man, yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Some people are gonna get some ideas from this because a lot of people are not very stable in the mind. You know what I'm saying? If they were worried about the last ones.
Oh, this is Fortnite for adults, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
This
check it
is,
out. Check out. You know what? You know when it's dropping though?
what?
2025.
Okay, so they cock teased you,
Yo, do you realize how much pressure it is to live to 2025?
especially now.
Too much
Like,
pressure. Like,
I'm
yo,
scared in my living room. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's gonna happen. It's
yeah. Like COVID 20 could drop between point A and point B, which, if it came out like right the same week that, GTA 6 come out, that'd be perfect because I could be in the house.
yeah, no, yeah, then you could just sit there and just game away, if you will.
I mean, and the crazy thing is when you look at the leaps and bounds that the graphics have made between I mean, 5 still looks stunning to me.
Right, yeah.
And as people who have spent, considerable amount of time on the West Coast, yo, I be playing Grand Theft Auto 5, and it's like, I know where that city, I know where
Yep.
that street is. I know somebody
Yep.
lives on this virtual corner right here. Like the
Yep.
attention to detail is super duper OD, and I love what they bring to the table.
I wonder how it's gonna get. They didn't show any of the murder scenes, but I wonder how the murder, death, kill scenes are. Because if it looks that intense, it's gonna look insane. And imagine in a few years, because of how AI is, like it's just gonna be, yo.
Hopefully it could help them turn games around faster. Like, what was the game that got you hooked on gaming growing up, or was it like what? Because we don't really talk about games much, and in my head, I felt like we had a gaming connection, when we first met. But like, no, it was only hip hop. Like, you're one of my few friends that we don't have a video game bond.
Well, we did for a short period of time, but I'm smart about it to where I was like, yo, I'm giving away my consoles. I'm not buying any new ones because I would sit and think about it when I'm at work, be doing a show, whatever the case may be. I should be doing something else. And I'm thinking about it. I'd be with my girl or something. I'm thinking about the damn game, or I'm home playing it. You know what I'm saying? I need to be out working out. I need to be doing something productive. So I was like, yo, I see this pattern. I need to put away the drug before it gets me even worse. But
That's strong. That's real
yeah.
strong.
Yo, I had to, man. And plus I would just spend too much time at it and too much. I'd just be too much. It'd be too much. So I was like, yo, let me put this away. And that's how come I'm not like a gamer head like I should be and I would be. Because right now, I would, especially the way things are now. Oh, are you what? No, that's
Oh,
all.
pure escapism. Meanwhile, like while you gave your consoles away, I was bringing my PlayStation to the studio.
No, I remember that we would
Oh,
play. I
Grand
remember,
Theft Auto drop? Yo, in
yes,
between the commercials, like,
yes.
man, come
Yes, I
on
don't know if
now.
you remember we'd be playing on while we'd be on the air, we'd be playing video games. Before that was the cool thing to do. Now people have all these channels where they're playing video games and talking mess and making money. We were doing that on the TV and the stations and playing video games in between our commercial breaks. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, but now like I'd get too carried away with it. I keep up with things, so I know what's going on,
Mhm.
but I just don't because I know like I want a new console. We talked about getting a new console because of the kids and all, but I'm like, yo, I'm I'm scared to do it, man, because I will. But the game that got me back in the day was like Twisted Metal. I used to play that.
Oh,
I played
yeah.
that for 24 hours one time. Like I didn't. I played it for 24 hours. I didn't.
Twisted Metal 1 or 2?
Think it was two. I think it was two. And of course, the first couple of Grand Theft Autos. Yo, like
Yeah, I used
yo.
to come to the station every day, like, yo, it's kind of like, so he does all this stuff, and then he lives in the projects. We talk about like Grand Theft Auto 3, like 'cause the safe house used to be like in the hood.
Yeah.
Man, that game was so cutting edge, and everybody was like, "Oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to
Yep.
consoles," but it wasn't.
Yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
it did it, and see, I'm saying halfway, and it even did it affect me when I'd be driving because I'd be playing it so much, and then I'm driving and I'm thinking about hitting people with my car and then stuff like that. Not that I don't already, but it was just intensified the wanting to kill. You know what I'm saying? Like run up on
Bloodlust,
people.
if you
Yeah,
will.
a lot of bloodlust. Even I can't remember where we were at, but shout out to our homie Super K because he brought this up recently. We were somewhere with you, and something happened, like a backfire from a car, and you turned around and tried to shoot at him with an imaginary gun, but like for real. You're like, yo, and we're like, yo, you don't have a gun.
Yo, like that went on for like 4 years. Like, yo, my nerves were just so bad at one point in time. Like anytime I would hear something, I would reach in my coat and pull out. And it's like, what am like even to this day when you bring that story up, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm like, yo, what was I doing? Like what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's never been that serious.
No, but it was wild because I remember K brought it up recently. I don't know why he brought it up. He's like, you think we were even talking about that? He's like, yo, do you remember that time Head Crack pulled out a gun that wasn't even there and like just like aimed it and like we were like, yo, what are you doing? Yeah, like
Yo, man, PTSD. I feel like we all come into this world with like shit that happened to like our ancestors and other people. You know what I mean? Between point A and point B. And I don't know, like maybe I don't e- uh, Vietnam War. Uh,
something.
I don't know. I don't
You
know.
you was in WWII getting it
Yeah,
in at the Japanese.
I was in the shit.
Yeah, he was in the shit with the 1,000-yard stare.
I was a child rebel soldier.
It could have been. It could have been in Africa. You know what I'm
Word.
saying?
Now I was listening to DMC from Run DMC's
Right.
Drink Champs episode. It's like 4
Ah.
hours long.
Right.
Like
Right.
phenomenal. Like D is telling all these stories that you never heard before, and yo, the way he just weaves these tales, and he was talking about how he ended up doing a show for like this guy who was formerly a child rebel soldier and got rescued by the UN and brought to America, and they showed him all this music. So at some point, he made something out of himself and was able to like, hey, I want to bring a show back to Africa. And the show was, it wasn't even Run DMC. You just got DMC
Oh, wow.
and his DJ, and he was just telling a story. It was just like, wow, man, like people really be going through some stuff. As bad as America is in
Oh, yeah,
certain
no.
pockets of it, man, there's just unimaginable things happening on parts that don't get great news coverage,
No.
or it's just awful, man.
It's
How
going
like a
down
lot
right
of this
now.
stuff wasn't even 20 years ago. Like
Yeah. No. It's some genocides and stuff are popping off right now as we speak. As we speak, right now,
yeah,
someone's running for their life. You know what I'm saying? Like with no pants. That's how real it is.
I can't even fathom. I can't even fathom. That's why I be trying not to like worry about my first world problems because like I know that
Yeah.
people really going through some stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, man, like just sometimes I'll be opening my mouth to complain about something, and then I just stop mid sentence.
Especially you gotta watch it if it starts with and then if you start with that sound, if you start with that sound, if you're gonna complain about something, you're like, and you check yourself. I don't care what it is, but if you start and you're a man and you start with well, look, my toothpaste tastes funny. Nah, man, like you gotta check it. That's a first world problem because if you running from something and it's real life, you don't have time to go and
Mhm.
just make those moan sounds before the complaint. Just don't. It's not
That's
worth it.
why I feel like more people should fight in school.
Oh
And
yeah.
and don't isolate that sentence and just run with that. But what I'm saying is some people don't know what it feels like to really be in some level of danger. And not saying that everybody should have to run for their lives, but just so you can better understand what a lot, what everybody goes through in some level or another. Like I feel like growing up, you should have the full life experience. You should
Right.
fall in love. You should have your heart broken. You should win a
Right.
fight. You should lose a fight. You should be, you should get things to go your way. You should get people to tell you no. And sometimes people have such a linear path and they just live their whole life sheltered that they get to be an adult and will mutter something like, when that person started speaking, I didn't feel safe. Which is something that I heard somebody say about somebody,
Oh no,
and I'm
that's
like,
my thing. That's my
it's
whole.
like you're an adult.
Oh yeah,
I didn't feel safe.
dude. Yo, my whole thing is because words are violence. I'm like, yo, I'll show you violence. Words ain't
Yeah.
violence. Like, yo,
Violence
that's
is
somebody who's never
violence.
been smacked in the mouth. Yeah, that's somebody who's never been smacked in the mouth. And I hate to say it sounds so cruel, but it's like, yo, you probably need to get smacked in the mouth to see how great you have it. Because obviously, if you think your words are violence and they hurt me, because sometimes you might get your feelings hurt. I'm human.
Mm,
I get it. Words can hurt, but they ain't violent. Like, you know what I mean? It's like some things is just violent. Like I've witnessed and been a part of violence. You know what I mean? It's not words. I'd much rather have your words coming at me than a bullet. You know what I
right.
mean? Or a knife
So
or a
when
fist.
people get so weak to where they can't handle words or handle rejection or handle something that they find objectionable, I argue with my lady all the time about like having the news on because growing
Mm,
up the news stayed on in my crib, and it wasn't even because my parents turned it on.
yeah.
It was on because, no, tell me more about these Iran Contra folks. Ollie North, that sounds like a cool fella. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone took a shot at the president. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for real.
It
I was
wasn't
the same way. That's another reason why we friends because I was like, oh yeah. So tell me about the Iran Contra scandal. Tell me about that.
Muammar Gaddafi has great style.
Yeah, here I am, like 6. Like, yo, you know what I mean?
But yeah, you want to
Real
understand
quick
what's going on
though.
in the world.
Gaddafi was kind of with the style, and all his bodyguards were chick
Especially
models.
the last few years of his life.
Oh, Cazelle glasses, scarves, mad drapery.
Ill
Like he was
hat.
ill hat. You know
Yo,
what I mean?
he used to come through to the UN joints dressed like Akeem the Dream, the wrestler. Like, like he would have the ill, like it was like warlord suit, half dashiki blend.
That's right. That's
And it
right.
was like, yo, man, this kid is spitting. And it would go up to the UN and tell everybody about themselves. Like, yo, listen,
Oh
y'all doing this to the that's what got him murdered. you know, and it sucks when you fall down certain like YouTube and TikTok rabbit holes and you'll see little documentaries, and I forgot what it was, but it was it was something I was watching, and it was talking about oh, it was on this. Do you watch this show called The Y Files?
Yes, yes, I do. I haven't watched it recently, but yes, I do. Yeah,
Yo,
heavy on some stuff,
and,
man.
and God bless me for not knowing the main host name, but it's
Yeah, I
him,
forget his name too.
him and Hecklefish, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hecklefish is the person who is like a little goldfish who be representing the people on the other side of the screen. It was like, yo, this is some
Yeah.
BS. I don't believe none of this stuff. So he was talking about these different Sumerian scrolls that are hidden all around the Middle East. And when it was found that one of these scrolls was in Libya, you know, which Gaddafi oversaw. Like
Mhm.
that was when they put these people in place to kind of get them up out of there and move them around so they could kind of get order restored and find the scrolls really fast. And then on this Wi-Fi thing, they like played a news clip. It's like, yeah, there was a break-in in a museum where like over blah 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 worth of artifacts was stolen. But the deeper rabbit hole to go down from beyond there is like, yo, whoever got all of the scrolls, it was pretty much like instructions on how to build this looking glass machine to where
Mm.
like you could look forward and backwards in time. Yep, cutest sci-fi music. You could look forward and backwards in time and just tinker with things to make it go the way it was supposed to go. Really ill channel. And the crazy thing is, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but he does a great job at rolling all these details out. And in the last like 2 minutes of the episode, let all the air out the tires and tell you like why. But there's a few episodes where it was like, yeah, so we don't even really know kind of thing.
Word,
You know what I mean?
word.
And I'm not gonna say if it was this one or the I was just talking about or other ones, but it's a great channel if you like conspiracies and stuff like that. And I'm definitely all about that sort of stuff because I feel like there's a lot of plausible things.
Yeah.
There's so many things that just like totally make sense. Even when you start talking about random Mandela effects and not just the basic ones like Bear Bears and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
life
yeah.
was a box of chocolate, but just other things were like, no, I just who knocked on the door and gave you the big check?
Oh,
And
yeah, it's Publishing Clearinghouse. Publishers Clearinghouse.
brother, it was not Publishers
Yes, it
Clearinghouse,
was, man.
but
My grandparents was all
it
into that.
was. In
Yo,
my timeline, Ed McMahon knocked on the
Ed
door
McMahon.
and gave you the check from Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah, he did.
No, if you Google it now, it's American Family Publishers.
That may be people who own it or something.
No, like everything.
No, Publishers Clearinghouse, dude, because I remember I think I even entered as a kid or something, like, and then my grandparents got a whole bunch of, like, extra mail all the time because of it, like, even after they passed,
Bro,
like, they were still getting
yo, I'm right there with you. This is the version that I remember,
lies.
and hold on, I'm downloading this picture now. I'm gonna pop it up in here for
Okay.
people to
Peep,
see.
peep
And I
game.
was asking, am I frozen? No, I'm not frozen. Am I? All
No,
right,
you good.
cool. I see. And I was even asking people, you know, like not too long ago, like, hey, what do you remember? You know,
Right.
like, hey, do you
Ooh,
remember like this guy working for Publishers Clearinghouse? I don't even oh, this is how we pop pictures in here. Pop that picture. Hey, pop that picture. Hey, hold on a second. Pardon me,
uh-oh.
pardon me. This is the
Okay, there we
stuff.
go. My audio went bad. Now I hear you.
Okay, no worries. But yeah, so I definitely remember him. Big check, Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah,
Apparently, he never knocked on nobody's door with no big check, and
and the
it came
balloons.
balloons. Yeah, no, this is what they
Nah,
say it is. That is not what I remember.
nah, that's
Not
not
what
at
I
all.
remember at all.
Nah, lies from the pit of hell. No,
Yeah, so
I
you know,
refuse.
in that same Wild Files episode, they was talking about like the people using it, tinkering with minor things that don't have major effects on everything overall, but just to see how it works, sort of thing.
And this goes back to the looking glass theory?
The looking glass thing. So like basically they're saying like the people who like fly UFOs that are like the grays, they're actually
Yeah.
like future humans.
Real quick, you know what? And that's not that far off because even the government has questioned that, and I've seen the hearings because 'cause I'm a nerd and I keep up with that, the actual, like, big hearings they've been having on the House and all that. Even some of the congressmen and the senators, the main people that are coming out like, "Yo, something's going on," you know what I'm saying? Yeah, some of them say, "Hey, it might even be that there are us from the future and the government has something to do with it and they have knowledge of that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Yeah.
yo, I could see that. And I thought that before, even before all the stupid theories, not saying, but I was thinking outside the box probably when I was smoking weed or something. I was like, yo, what if they're us from the future? Because that would make sense if they're not interacting with us. Because I used to read these books back in the day called Choose Your Own Adventure. Shout out
Mhm.
to all the kids that remember those. And like there was one where you could go like back during the dinosaur times in like a time machine. But here's the thing: you couldn't touch nothing. Like the machine had to be like in the air and it couldn't touch anything. And there's different adventures if you accidentally touch a blade of grass or something. If you interacted with anything, it completely, butterfly effect
Man,
basically.
my library was trash because I ain't never seen her. I heard about them, just
Oh
never
man,
seen them. But I always respected the plot and like the steez of like, okay, so you don't want to do this, do that. Makes you want to read
yo,
the book more than once.
yeah, no, and that's what it did. I get the ninja ones. Used to piss me off because my punk ass teachers wouldn't let me have them. Like we'd have them in school and they have them in class. And wouldn't let me have them because like, no, you're dyslexic. Like, yo, obviously I could read, and so I had to get them from the homies. You know what I'm saying? When they
Okay,
used to yeah, they used to treat me like I was Downsy or something because you have dyslexia. Not the same thing. I don't have an extra chromosome. Okay,
fair.
I got sleepy eyes, but that's about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, when I was reading them books, it used to be all different kinds of ones, the ninja ones, the ancient, the fighting ones. And some of them I look back kind of violent. It's like, yo, like, you can murder this guy or you cannot. Where is it gonna take you? You know what I'm saying? They should put those back in school.
They really should. They really pick really weird books to remove. So there was one that talked about the aliens being from the future.
Yeah, well, basically, it just kind of made me think like, okay, in the book, like you couldn't touch anything because of the butterfly effect. Because they're like, well, how
Okay.
come if there's all these aliens out there, how come none of them are like communicating with us and they're not landing on the White House lawn and all that stuff, right? But they're flying
Mhm.
around and they doing certain things. You know what I'm saying? And the government's like, yeah, they're real. Scientists are like, yeah, they're real. We just don't know if they're aliens or they've been here or whatever. I'm like, because if they from the future, there's gonna be a problem because they want to cause a butterfly effect. You know what I mean? They coming back and
Yeah.
looking at things like because they're getting reports of them shutting down like nuclear silos and
Yeah.
they showing up during like they showing up on battlefields during wars and things. They're showing up and they're like changing things, and it's like that could be them.
That makes a gang of sense because just think, hey, if you nuke this now, then it's gonna screw up the planet for the future. I'm just curious to what ripple effect does that create because there's been so many just different artistic and creative paintings of what altering the future looks like, right? Do you disappear
Right.
like in Black Back to the Future if your parents never met, or I your life still was what your life was in the first flow of it all, but now your life just continues in this current timeline, and even though you're from the year 2762, you die in 2023,
Mm,
and that's how it ends. It's just weird. It's a weird ass paradox. They talk
it
about thing
is.
called the grandfather paradox. Like,
Yep.
what if you went back in time and something happened to your granddad? Would you cease to exist? And I think that the answer is you wouldn't because your
Mm.
timeline still happened. You just went back on your actual life.
But you wouldn't have the same DNA because if there's no DNA for you to get. See what I'm saying? That's what I
Mm,
see what I'm
it's like the
saying?
dog chasing the tail over and over again. Like, especially like if you went back in time and killed your grandfather,
Mm, oh, yeah.
that would be weird. But maybe the answer was you were always your grandfather.
But what happens if you impregnated your grandmother? Then who would be who? Mm, yeah, mind blower. Think about
I
that next
think
time
that's
you
how
watch
you
one of
probably get the first big head, giant eyed person. Probably.
maybe that's how it happens. Maybe that's how we evolve. One of these horny future dudes with the time machine goes back and bangs grandma. And
And that's how the J chromosome was invented. And like anybody got the little mouth, the little tiny mouth. First, they thought they was like little, like deformed mutant people. Like, oh
no.
man, we can't even
Yeah.
feed them with their little tiny mouths, and they're always so restless because they have no eyelids. And but come to find out, they were from that was the future race, the ones who would be genetically equipped to deal with the fall of man. And when everyone went underground, that's how their features initially became, but you came back from the future and made a
Yeah, it's all because there's
new
some
one.
some future perv banged his grandma, and he went back in time
And that's
and
what he came to do.
That's what he came to do. That's what he came to, and because that God punished them, that's how come they don't have genitalia. So,
Because the
what?
future is so warped, because you know how, like, each generation tries to outdo or out-weird the generation prior to it, so, like, when he finished the deed, because
Right?
he made her fall in love with him, he didn't even explain who he
Oh,
was. He's like,
oh,
"Hey, man, I know everything you like, and da 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 da.
oh,
Is this your favorite song? Uh,
oh,
Pound Town by Sexy Red, is this your favorite song?" And then
his
and then
grandmother,
he because his grandmother is actually young. His grandmother's
like a
is
hot 18, 19-year-old, and he's coming back to make her while she's ultra young. You know what I'm
Yeah, because
saying?
he's weird, and he had a weird chip on his shoulder, and when he's done with the whole deed and she falls in love with him and he knows he's getting ready to go back into, like, where he came, he goes,
But what would cause that kind of a chip on his shoulder to where he's like, "Yeah, Granny didn't bring me those cookies I wanted. I'm gonna go back in time and bang her out." Like, what makes you want to do that? Like, what makes one wanna? I have the keys to the future and the past, but you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go bang Granny. Not
People do
somebody else's.
stupid things with the potential to do better all the time. I mean, look at all these people who
But
just got
that's
accused of
extreme.
sexual assault, and I'm not saying everybody guilty, but I feel like 6 out of 10 of them did it.
No, I feel you. And yeah, I guess maybe sometimes they just get bored, but that's a hell of a lot of boredom. I don't think I could get that bored to where it's like, you know what? I'm rich and famous. I've banged up all the models and bad little groupies I could. That dude looks, handsome to me. Like that's just not in me, man. I don't.
I mean,
I, no,
yeah, I think people are wired to where I mean, I've heard
no,
different things,
no.
and you can't even throw a
No.
totality blanket on nothing conversationally,
Okay.
because, because even people who I've talked to who have been in this Hollywood shit for a long
I'm
time.
speaking for me.
No,
I
I
can just speak
understand.
for me.
Understand, and I'm speaking for me as well, right?
Right.
I don't get it either, but maybe you have to have tried every steak in the restaurant to decide that now you want lamb loin. I don't know.
What?
Weird
But
metaphor. It's really late when we record this, but
I'll stick with the beef. Like, what I don't. Hey, then I'll go back to what I like. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I've tried everything. Now let me try this child meat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you
to
go
me,
from regular steak. Do you want a surf and turf?
exactly. And I think that you already kind of like there's some programming issues there already that are there. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? To make you go, like even, and most dudes like, man, if I'm in jail, I ain't gonna go. I can confidently tell you if I'm locked up in prison, especially in prison, there's not gonna be a dude to where I'm gonna be like, I'm here for the rest of my life. Johnson looks kind of hot. No, it's just not. It's not in my programming. Now, if it's in someone's programming, hey, everybody has their own things. I'm just saying for me, that's one thing where I'm like time out. So because you can get all the bad chicks you want, now you want a handsome dude, or you want to throw a dude in the mix.
It's
Unless you're already programmed like that. If you're already programmed, then get it in. But if you're not saying you're not, and you're like, I'm ultra masculine and all this stuff, and you put forth this image but then
yeah.
you're
I
doing
think
this.
people are afraid to keep it a buck with who they really are, because
But
even
now you get
e-
reward people like he's brave.
no, I
He's
get no,
brave
no,
because
but
he's a girl, and now he's a guy. Now he's a girl, and he's brave. Like, you
okay,
know what I'm
so
saying?
just even to speak blindly, because I know this person has a lot of power and influence, right? But so the person who got semi outed not too long ago by his best friend who
Mhm,
was writing a book,
mhm,
okay, you're a big worldwide movie star, right?
mhm,
And
mhm.
there's certain countries that will
Yeah, no, I
not
get that.
play your movie if you gay or
I get
bisexual.
that.
You know what I
I
mean?
get
So
that.
he doesn't want to jeopardize his future bankability
Right.
on his thing, his truth. And here's the thing: if we're gonna find out that he was that way, it doesn't change the way I feel about anything he's ever done.
It doesn't really
Because
because it's
it
still
doesn't
they
affect me, one, and
right.
and whatever you was doing in the celebrity field, music field, I'm sure y'all know who we talk about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It meant all that meant enough to wherever you don't matter, no more. Like, well, you don't go out there and and get charged of sexual assault.
That's my thing.
We'll rock with you.
Yeah, if you wilding like that, that's a different issue. But I'm saying if you and I get the business end, man, because I'm not talking about America and all that,
Mm,
but like, yeah, some of these other places, yeah, they ain't gonna rock with you, so you're gonna lose a lot of your money. You know what I mean? I get that. But other than that, like, who gives a damn? My thing is like whenever people like you must celebrate me and throw me like you know what I mean. Now I'm special because of who I bang. I don't care who you bang. That don't make you special. You
It
know what I
doesn't.
mean? It doesn't. Like why do I care? Like I don't know. Or like because you want to chop your Jim Browski off. Have at it, Chief. You know what I'm saying? Do what you do. But like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna buy you a cake. You know what I mean? Like
Nah,
do it. Go
I got
ahead.
I
But
got this cup of ticker tape just for you. Enjoy.
one of those little things you pull and all the
Oh, your little
confetti
fatty
goes.
that someone has to clean up. No one ever
Yeah.
mentions that part.
No, they don't. That's the party's over, bitch. You know
People
what I'm
never
saying?
never see people sweep it up after New Year's Eve like that, and this is how you start your year, cleaning up people mess.
And vomit, and Lord knows what else from the party. But
Mhm.
in that case, it'd be dicks, and you don't want to somebody cut off their dick. You don't want to sweep that up. Maybe
Oh,
somebody does.
so sex offenders who got arrested earlier, like, where they took a little off the top.
There you go. To wrap it on, I'm gonna bring it all back around. But yo, real quick, if you could go back and say you had that looking glass, right?
Okay.
And you're not gonna bang no one's grandma and do nothing sick like that to create some type of future race.
Mhm.
Like, let's say you could go back and you could say one comedian or one comedic actor from any time, from when film and all that stuff has started till now, who would it be?
We said if I could send one comedian
Save one like
save
that. You have like one comedic
oh,
actor or comedian who's died. I didn't specify. My bad. I didn't explain it
man,
correctly.
I feel like all those comedians would have still died.
Okay, let's say give
To
him
be
more
honest with
time.
you,
No, I
'cause
feel you. I feel
you
you.
you know what I mean?
I'm saying I feel you. Because yeah, they lived a hectic life. But I'm saying because we love some comedy, we love comedic actors like a mug. But like if there's one, you're like, yo, man, I got to go back and talk this dude
I
out of
I
doing that.
feel Robin Harris
Mm.
would have been not
Oh
only one of
man.
the kings of comedy,
Oh yeah, for sure, for
but
sure.
one of the most revered voices in entertainment. You know what I mean? He was
Hmm.
just lighting up. And I remember first time I saw him, it was like on a Robert Townsend Partners in Crime.
Ah, yeah, I
And
used to watch those. Yeah, yeah,
man,
yeah.
I used to get excited when them joints would come on. And I saw them
For
out of
real.
order. I didn't even see the first one first.
Me
I saw
either.
like 2, then 3. And then
Hmm.
one would never come on repeat, but just the other ones would. And eventually, years later, I saw it. But yo, the first time I saw Robin Harris on that joint, I was like, yo, this is that dude. And then when he was in Do the Right Thing, I was like, oh, that dude is back. And then Harlem Nights and then House Party. And I think he died, right? As
Yeah,
House Party.
was wrapping up. I think.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it just sucked, man, because man, he was such a big part of that movie and one of the things that made it funny. So yeah, it'd be Robin Harris for me because like that heart attack, man, it just took him out too soon, man. It took him out too
Imagine
soon.
him with the podcast.
Yo,
Imagine him with the podcast in today's what's going on with the world today.
I
Yo,
mean,
man,
shoot, I don't even know if he would still be rocking like that because he was. I mean, but you know how like people back in the '80s look old, but they was like 28.
dude. I'm saying cats be looking tore up like when they was young, man.
Because I think John Amos was like 5 years older than JJ in real life when they was doing Good
Yeah.
Times.
Yes. I think so, because he's still alive and kicking, doing stuff with his son. Shout out to them. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
But man, it's like I don't know how old Robin Harris was, but damn, like because that was 89, 90 when he
Yeah.
passed. Yeah, we talking like 33 years later, so he would have been like 73.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, but
I
even
can't think.
still.
I would just be happy to have him around. Real
Yeah, it's
talk,
a
because
funny
even one of
dude,
the
man.
people who pop up in a Tyler Perry movie now and like telling people out the window something crazy, and it's weird because like you think about like if you bring somebody back, does it cancel out other people who fell in a spot?
Yes, probably.
You know what I'm saying? So if we get Robin Harris back, does this
Mhm.
change? Does that butterfly effect make it to where Bernie Mac wasn't a thing?
That's the exact person I was going to too. I don't know, maybe, or they could have done like a buddy thing, I don't know. Cause he was just dope in general, man. Like, he was
Yeah.
just dope. Like he was just dope. You know what I mean? Like, so
But
no telling.
when you look at certain people, you like there's certain people I feel like thrived in the absence of other people.
For sure.
So I feel like that definitely allowed a Bernie Mac to ascend. The passing of Patrice O'Neal, I feel
Oh
like
man. Oh man.
allowed a Corey Holcomb to ascend,
Yeah.
even though
Corey
it's
Holcomb's
not.
dope.
And they're both dope.
They're both
And
dope.
it's so great to have them both
Yeah, man.
killing at the same time, because I don't
Oh,
even think we got a chance to really get into podcast Patrice O'Neal.
Not really. You had the radio Patrice O'Neal, so he wasn't able to. He was able to get kind of busy, but he wasn't able to get busy like he
Yeah.
wanted to. And you got to work with him, right? Didn't you get to work with
He
Patrice?
came on the station, he came on the morning show, and he was one of our best guests that we ever
Yes.
had on the Ricky Smiley morning show
Yeah,
because,
man.
yo, he had this way of pissing women off, but
Yeah.
he was so honest about his intent and what he was saying. He like because some people will say things just to get the rise or
Right.
just to see how people are gonna respond. Yo, he believed everything he said and
I
had
know.
Patrice facts to really back up the way he felt and how he got to that opinion. Because that's the thing. I don't ever think people's opinions are wrong because I feel like your opinion is based on the things that happen to you in your worldview.
Yes, for
So,
sure.
yeah, so if you went to school every day and a Irish kid spit in your beard and you have a beard and you're in
That's gonna
elementary school,
about to say,
because of the
you know.
hormones in the food, right?
Yeah,
I
okay.
can
Yeah,
understand why you might have a problem with Irish people because, like,
right.
you remember this one person did this. So, like, let's unpack the trauma that got you to where you are now. So I feel like he did a great job at hitting the buttons, and
Yo,
it's a lost art, man. Who would you bring back?
it's hard to say, man. Maybe who I wouldn't want to die, like, was maybe Chris Farley, just because certain things he did, like,
Mhm.
some stuff was like, "Huh," but then other things was, like, on point, and it's sad, like, even on a personal level, "Hey, man, it's cool, you don't have to be famous, stop comedy, you seem like a good dude, just
Yeah.
stop banging so many, like, hookers and doing so much blow, you're already fat." You know what I mean? Like, I've seen so many documentaries on him just because it's just I like how his creative mind would work. That was
Mhm.
so interesting to me. So he's one of them dudes I'll be like, yo, man, like, come on, Chris, man. Like, okay, cool. And stop the comedy thing. Okay, lose some weight. You're still funny. It's not he always felt because he was fat. That's what made him funny. It's like
Yeah.
that. It's not you funny. You're funny anyway. Like, I think some assholes would have some things to say. Oh, he's
Mhm.
not as funny anymore because he's not fat. That kind of crap. But
Mhm.
he was a funny dude. And there's several other people like that, I feel that, because of how they looked or whatever, and they were insecure and ended up killing them in a weird way. They thought that that's what made them famous.
Yeah, you see it a lot in comedy. As a person who's just starting really to get out there and do it a little bit more, um, you do find yourself in situations where you may drink more than you normally do
Of course. Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
you sitting at these bars and these clubs killing time waiting for them to pull your name out of a hat or whatever if you're doing a bucket list or just an open mic situation. So to pass the time, yeah, you drink more and you might feel a little bit more loose when you drink and you want to recapture that moment night after night. And yeah, it can become habitual. And next thing you know, like, damn, man, I done drank 40 nights in a row. And
Right,
it
right, right.
it's crazy how you arrive to that point, but even, like, people when I watch, like, these little, like, YouTube documentaries about Saturday Night Live and why people left,
Yo,
everybody talks about just how stressful the environment is, even though it's a comedy show. Because that was one of the things that I always wanted to aspire to do.
same. Yeah.
I wanted to be on SNL, and I know in order to be on SNL, not saying you have to be in New York, but you really do gotta be on the comedy radar or have like a really dope agent
Something.
that
Yeah.
advocates for you. Cause like, I mean, a lot of people that they find from that New York City comedy writing scene, or maybe you went to Upright Citizens Brigade School,
Second City in
Second
Chicago.
City, yep, all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Groundlings on the West Coast, I
Groundlings,
think. Yep.
yeah. And see, I wanted to do that early in my life, and I was like, and I got to a point where as I got older, I was like, okay, if I could just at least perform on Saturday Night Live, that's so even now I get mad, like I'll see somebody that's whack, that's like the hot person of the moment. Like when I mean a
Mhm.
moment, I mean a moment, and they're trash, and then they have a trash performance on them, like you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch! You could have.
Yeah.
I just want to perform on it one fucking time. You know what I'm saying? Because this is one of them shows from when I was like, been around my whole life that I watched with my sisters and stuff that I always like, yo, man, one day I'm gonna be on there. Some way I'm gonna be on there.
Oh
But
man,
you
I
know,
mean, don't close the metal gate on the store yet. You know what I
no,
mean?
I know it's still happening, it's still popping. But you know what I'm
Yo,
saying? It's just one of those, it's one of those, but about being on it, like as a like when I learned more about how it is, that pressure, and
yeah.
some people I really respect, they were on there for a short period of time that walked away, like, yo, fuck this. Like I get it.
Yo, because you gotta think too, especially depending on what year you're going on.
Oh
Like,
man,
you may be competing against the Avengers of comedy writing. And I know a lot of
bruh.
people, it's easy to just pull the string in your back and you say, man, Saturday Night Live ain't funny. Like, you
Right,
might be thinking about a year, mad years ago when it wasn't funny. Like, and when you have a 90-minute show, I guess 60 minutes if you
really,
minus the
yeah,
commercials, right?
yeah, yeah.
Everything ain't gonna be hitting out the park, but
Nah,
9 times out of 10, that damn weekend update is gonna be on point,
right?
or maybe one of them, like, the digital sketches that they do in the middle.
Yo,
Like, I
yeah.
haven't watched the episode that was a 100% dud in a long time.
Word. See, now I backed away from it because I kept seeing ones and stuff, and I was like, "Yo, man, okay, I get it. I know who you're voting for. I get it. Like, I'm like, let's. I want to hear something else. You know what I'm saying? There was a period in time, especially during like election years. I'm like,
Yeah,
like
those
it's cool at first, and then they start pounding
mhm.
you in the head, and I'm like, okay, I get your political beliefs. That's cool. I want to laugh. I don't want to think about that shit right now. You know what I'm
If
saying?
you kept watching, you would realize, though, that they swing on everybody because now they swinging on to do this in office.
No, I mean that's cool too,
Relentless.
but just even in general, I'm just like, yo, man, like do some shit that's I don't know. I like the like when they would do offensive things. You know what I'm saying? It seems like it's
Yeah.
not as offensive. I like the offensive, even if I found it like, yo, that could offend me. But I like the fact that they did that. You know what I'm saying? I just find strength in comedy in not cruelness, because that's not funny, but like straight making a point out of something and kind of being offensive. And we're in the days, like we said, violence, words are violence. That's where we're at. And it's just kind of
Mhm.
it's starting to die down a little bit, but it's just like, damn.
Oh, it's a pendulum that swings back and forth. Like, yo, we tough, we can take it now. We man soft, and everybody got feelings. And I hate the feelings era because I feel like you should be able to tell people how you feel about whatever it is, or not agree with certain things, or feel like certain things are wrong and not lose your
Right.
job. And the space and place where everybody is afraid to vocalize and be who they are is frustrating. As much as I hated, the Trump era and how racist people seemed, but also were getting immediately canceled.
Yeah.
I was one of those people who was like, "Yeah, don't take their job. It's cool to know how people feel, and I can choose whether or not I'm gonna support what you do."
You mean like freedom of speech and whatnot? Like,
Which
you know
which
what
we
I'm
lean
saying, dude?
heavily on, which I've seen so many people in the last few months lose jobs and opportunities just for not being in the certain flow of agreements with certain things. And it's like, this is the opposite of what America's built on. And everybody should be entitled to have certain opinions on certain things. And we don't always have to agree. I'm cool with not agreeing, but
Yeah, that's what
don't
makes it interesting.
yeah, but don't fake like you feel a certain way if you don't feel a certain way. And that's what they kind of cookie cutter pound mold you into. Like, no, you're gonna go with the flow of public opinion. And even if something feels wrong, you're gonna say you like it. It's
Yo,
mind rape.
that's exactly it's actually, man, it goes back to like old school Chinese communism, man. So
You ain't gonna
that's the
tell
mindset.
nobody how you feel about
Yeah,
this
keep that to
fisting you getting.
yourself.
You supposed to like this.
We're not supposed to agree. But like, yo, like I think with the first incarnation with our first media job together, I think we wouldn't last 5 seconds because yo, I don't think we could have got a job at the 7-Eleven if it was now because we was kind of rough, rugged, and raw. Like,
Damn.
yo, we used to get protested then. I don't know if you remember, but there was a couple of times where we
Oh
did.
no, people used to write this station because man, but I feel like you're supposed to crack a few eggs and make the perfect omelet.
Yes,
And
yes.
it's crazy how every radio company operates differently. And we
Right,
came in at
right,
a
right.
certain time where I because we was a new station and we was kinda above the radar, no one
Right.
expected us to win. We was able it's like Super Mario when you get the star and you're invincible and just running through the turtles, you know what I'm saying?
Man,
And that's what we were doing. We were like
was running
shooting
through
rec
the
we were
turtles
shooting records on the air and cutting them off. You know what I mean? Like, we were like impersonating like the other DJs across the street, to
with
the
them on
point
the phone. Like, yeah, like
man.
going at them with impersonations of them playing psychological. We did radio jihad right after nine
That was a
eleven.
thing, yeah. And remember that one time where we did that contest to see like whoever like represented the hardest between the Mexicans and the Puerto Ricans got control of Cinco de Mayo? And the program director says, "You can't do that." I'm like, "Yo, you know, we're not really giving it away, right?"
Like, we don't have the power to give away a holiday. Like, we don't
Yeah,
have that
it's like
a historical
only
holiday.
7 Puerto Ricans in Dallas Fort Worth. So, yeah, I think the title stays in Harlem. You're good.
Oh, yeah. Good stuff, man.
Scary ass people, but it's
Yeah.
crazy because like I've been like taking like different conversations, meetings with people, and just to see how every room operates, you know, like listening to different like morning shows. It's like, oh wow, that's crazy. Those people are doing what I said we should do, but I didn't
Yeah,
really
that's
do.
funny how that works, ain't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then these people they're not allowed to do certain things because it's it's just weird how every building in every room is different, and that's why podcasts are so fun.
Yeah, that's the better end, you know what I'm saying? But even they shut down our original podcast back in the day, but I digress. I digress.
Which one?
Big Nose Mike?
No, they didn't shut it down. We just stopped doing it.
No, because I remember distinctly, it had to do with, contracts that year. I remember distinctly, at least on
Oh,
mine.
the station cut
At
it down.
least yeah,
Oh,
because
I
we were
didn't know that
doing
was
it.
a thing.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a thing. Like, yeah. Shout out to Dave Anderson. Yeah, but we talked about he brought that up. Yeah.
Ah, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah. Good times, man. But, you know,
Yeah,
hey.
great times, great times. So
Yeah.
with that being said,
Mhm.
this podcast will continue with support from viewers like you. You know, like, subscribe, share with others. Leave comments.
Yeah, because we'll get those every now and then. And it's interesting. Even some of the people that were offended by our last one, you know, they feel like, wow, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's all good. I
Yeah.
respect it and I like it. So,
And the crazy thing is, like, a lot of stuff we talk about on this podcast is very evergreen. So it's not like, you know, hey, did you see the Grammys last night? Like, you know, not even gonna hold y'all. But we recorded this episode in 1932.
yep. So look at how we look now. Think about it. Oh,
Moisturizing and aging gracefully.
are we those people who came back from the future?
We are. And plaid is where you need to invest your fashion time in. Yeah, where can people follow you at, homie?
At Keynote on Air, and that's on everything just to keep it simple. And it's not Keynote, it's Keynote, Keynote
Oh, yeah,
on
like the
air.
old school game. Yeah, I guess I could throw the lower thirds back up, man.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah, it's
Yeah, it went
okay.
away when I bought up this guy.
Oh,
And I forgot to put it back. I've been using this program, but not like that. So yeah,
Ed McMahon. Yeah,
yeah,
he took it away.
American
Where can they
Family.
find you at? Where's the many places they can find you at, son?
Hanging out with Ed McMahon at the American Family Publishers office.
Fucking Star
Uh,
Search.
Yo, let me know what y'all remember. It was Publishers Clearinghouse
It was
when
published
man
clearly.
came through with the check. Like, yo, I be ready. I feel like sometimes we're being punked
Yeah, it
because
feels
some of
like
this
that.
stuff does not make sense because I have a very specific memory of certain things, and I'll forget certain like cool things that happen, but I'm a geek about this pop culture shit. So I be remembering certain things because the TV raised me.
Yeah, same.
TV was
Latchkey
my
Kid.
TV was my step parent, my
For
other step
real.
parent. So like I remember these things. However, you can follow me as it says below, HEADKRACK, and tap in with the Bodega Brothers on Spotify because that's where you can like check out our latest tunes. And I know we've been saying new music coming, but new music is coming
It's
sooner
already ready and
sooner
done.
than later. So just stay subscribed, click the alarm so you know when new things drop, and we're gonna be at you again next week.
And Travi might be with us if a sporting event isn't, he's not bathing a child, that's his. If he's not
Pickleball
doing that,
tournament.
yeah, something's going on. So shout out Travi. Yep.
Word bond, word bond. Peace and love, y'all.